the temple.
Good evening and welcome to the news across the country. Central Bank of Nigeria bans charges on dollar for domestic transactions. NUJ expunges non-practicing members from union. Report of the week focuses on the new Naira notes and hiccups being experienced by Nigerians. Zamfara police arrest suspected bandit. The present administration in Osun State is set to take every necessary action that will turn the face of the hitherto neglected Owala Dam to a world-class befitting. Osun State Deputy Governor Prince Kola Adewusi needed to during an assessment tour on the facilities at the dam. Deputy Governor's correspondent Said Adeboje has the details.
The Owala Dam houses highly sophisticated equipment and located across serene environments that could be used for multivarious purposes. The Deputy Governor Prince Kola Adewusi, amidst an array of dignitaries, visited the dam to ascertain the level of facility decay due to neglection in the years past. Prince Adewusi expressed concern that such a dam could be neglected, maintaining that it has potentials of generating income to the state government if maximized. Prince Adewusi noted that apart from fishing, the dam could be designed as one of the world's best beach, tourist center, and as well as generating electricity for the usage of residents of the state. The Deputy Governor therefore explained will leave no stone unturned at ensuring that the dam become functional.
It's something that the government can tap into to make best use of in so many ways. Like I've experienced today, the Owala Dam here serves so many purposes. One, supplying water to the community in general. It can be used for fishing purposes. At the same time, turbo can be installed to generate even electricity, not only for the corporation, at least even to be metered out to the society.
Speaking in an interview, the General Manager of Osun State Water Corporation, Engineer Modukwe Olajokotola, noted that the dam has the capacity of generating 15 megahours, which will put an end to epileptic electricity supply in the state. She called on the state government to maximize the potential of the dam to the fullest.
We want the government to support the water sector so that this dam is regularly maintained.
From the office of the Deputy Governor, this is Said Adeboje reporting.
The Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has said any commercial bank that rejects old Naira notes before the January 31st deadline will face stiff penalties. The Central Bank of Nigeria Director Internal Audit, Mrs. Lydia Alpha, said the Apex Bank would consider such actions from any commercial bank as sabotage and treat them according to its laws to ensure that rural dwellers are not negatively affected by the new policy of Nigerian design. Super agents have been dispatched on the 21 local councils of Adamawa to mob up the old note before the deadline. Mrs. Alpha urged Nigerians to applaud CBN for the Naira redesign policy, pointed out that the benefits of the stability of the country's economy is very huge. She advised big business outlets, including filling stations, to use point of sales services for their customers. According to her, the massive enlightenment campaign in Adamawa on replacements of the old Naira notes is to ensure that Nigerians did not record financial losses as a result of the Naira redesign policy. The CBN director, who charged journalists to spearhead the campaign of the new policy, added that cooperation of the media would help to discharge some of the negative impressions economic saboteurs try to create. Meanwhile, with the launch of the National Domestic Card Scheme Africa, the Central Bank of Nigeria said it will be coming up with a deadline for the existing card schemes in the country, after which they will no longer be eligible for domestic transactions. Speaking at a virtual launch of the card scheme today, the governor of the CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, said All domestic transactions that are going to be conducted in Nigeria will have to be through the Nigerian domestic cards, noting that the domestic card scheme avails the country the sovereignty of the data. In addition to coming at a lower cost, Mr. Mayfield added that as this time, when foreign exchange challenges persist globally, it is important that they have this card to ensure that all card transactions, online transactions, where they are using cards will now effectively immediately begin to go on the Nigerian national domestic system. In the meantime, Rivers State Governor Mr. Nyesom Wike has cautioned the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) that the success and failure of the 2023 general elections next month will have substantial implications for the country. He said the success of the election will add value by consolidating and strengthening the roots of the democracy, while failure may increase political polarization in the country and set the democracy backwards. Governor Wike gave the warning at an international conference in Port Harcourt with the theme Deepening Democratic Culture and Institutions for Sustainable Development and Security. He pointed out that since 1999, Nigeria has had 6 general election cycles, but none of them has been seen as free and by losers. Contestants have had to hand in the Supreme Court to contest their results. Governor Wike recalls that the outcome of the 2007 elections led to protests and riots, which led to the loss of several lives and properties in particular sections of the country. The Federal Executive Council (FEC) has approved the National Child Online Protection Policy and Strategy. The Council also approved Nigeria's Data Protection Bill at a meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in Abuja. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Mr. Issa Potami, after the meeting explained that the National Child Protection Policy aimed to protect children from online content. He said online content could corrupt their innocence. The minister said the policy is in line with the International Telecommunication Union's policy document for all its member countries. Speaking on the Data Protection Bill, Mr. Patami said under the National Cyber Security Policy 2021, the Nigerian Communications Commission is mandated to come up with a policy to protect citizens online. There were controversies after the proposed bill was first made public. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has vowed to officially cooperate the facing posters of political parties and ensure that justice was served accordingly. A politician, Mr. Timothy Bolarinwa, gave the assurance today while featuring on OSBC weekly radio program Arule Apakon. He described Governor Adeleke as a peaceful and loving governor who detests violence and thuggery. Mr. Bolarinwa maintained that he would not condone any act that is capable of understanding the peace in the state. The politician gave the reason that the governor would continue to prioritize overall welfare of the people as well as ensuring prompt payment of workers' salary and pensions. The retired civil servants were imploring the people not to relent in their support for the governor and enjoined the people in the state to make judicious choice of candidates in the forthcoming general election that will turn around the fortune of the state and the country. The National Body of Nigerian Union of Journalists has streamlined membership list of the union to core professional practicing members. And the special delegates section of the union held at an event center in Kano, the Nigerian Union of Journalists expunged the National Orientation Agency, non-practicing Ministry of Information and local government staff from members of NUJ. The delegate section, which reviewed the constitution of NUJ, was presided over by the national president of NUJ, Mr. Chris Isikuzo. The new law passed by NUJ national delegates deregistered public relations officers in the local government from membership status of NUJ. However, all the members of the ministries whose members have been deleted from NUJ who are currently holding elective posts in NUJ will retain the post to the expiration of their tenures. This is the news across the country coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now, our message. Great opportunities are not seen with your eye. they are seen with your mind. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. Report of the week packaged by Sonia Onon. They review the hiccups being experienced by Nigerians, as many were yet to sight or touch the new Naira notes ahead of January 31st deadline for transacting with the old Naira notes of 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira. His report.
As this winds up to the January 31st deadline of phasing out the old Naira notes, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, maintained that there will be no extension for the depositing of the old Naira notes. Speaking shortly after the meeting of Monetary Policy Committee in Abuja, Mr. Emefiele apologized to Nigerians for not extending the deadline, stressing that Nigerians had 100 days from the time the announcement was made until expiration date to deposit their old notes, adding that the current sensitization will continue until the deadline, January 31st. Speaking on the current public sensitization, Deputy Director, Banking Supervision, Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Adetona Adedeji, said that the Apex Bank is quadrupling efforts in ensuring that more new Naira notes were circulated across the country before deadline.
All banks have been supplied with enough new currency to go around. We are appealing to our people to please go to their various banks, go to their ATM, withdraw the new note. Take all the old currency and go and deposit it in your banks. All the old currency, 1000 Naira note, 500 Naira note, and your 200 Naira note. Please take them to your banks for deposit. Because by midnight 31st January, 1000 Naira old note, 500 Naira old note, and 200 Naira cease to be legal tender in Nigeria. The new currency, redesigned currency, has taken effect. That's only what we'll be using effective February, from the time it was issued, and effective February 1st. The old note will no longer be a legal tender. Please, we are appealing to our people to please take their own currency to their bank, use their ATM to withdraw.
Observation by OSBC News at commercial banks and business premises visited in Oshogbo, the state capital, revealed that transactions were still being done with old notes. Mr. Onyema Udeze, a retailer at Okoniti, who expressed frustration on the acute shortage of new Naira notes, implored the federal government to extend the deadline.
The money changing is very good as we change it. It's good as we change it. But the issue is this: we poor masses, they take and stop us because of every day we are selling market. I don't have account. If I sell, I go and feed my family. If I don't sell, I will not get 20 to what to eat. Please, I will allow them to shift this a little bit so that we can get this in, the new one circulate. We love the new one, but they don't circulate. When you went to bank, anyone want to buy something from you, give you old one. So if somebody buys something from you now, you give you the old one, we'll be happy. Then you give you the old one. Then not nowhere. You say 1.5, say 2,000. Is it there 2,000? You carry to bank and change it. So it's very, very, very. Please let Nigeria let them know what to do so that the two will be balanced. If we balance, it's okay for us. We need Nigeria. It's okay for us. We are together. But let us Nigeria a big man to make us to be somehow. So it's not good. Please, we are begging our president and all the CBN to send something a little bit so that we will enjoy it.
Recall that the Central Bank of Nigeria had in November last year announced new monetary policy, including redesigning of 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira notes, technically designed to stem kidnapping, banditry and counterfeiting. For Report of the Week, Saya Ononide reporting.
Zamfara State Police Command has arrested a suspect over banditry-related offences, criminal conspiracy, robbery and fraud. Addressing newsmen at the State Police Headquarters in Guzo, the police spokesman SP Muhammad Shehu said 15 locally fabricated firearms were also recovered from the suspect. SP Shehu said the onslaughts against bandits has resulted in the arrest of over 250 suspects and recovery of arms and ammunition such as AK-47, AK-49, rocket launchers, RPGs, GPMGS, La, and other high caliber of sophisticated rifles. She added that the onslaught has drastically reduced the rate of crimes in the state against the high rate of crimes that were hitherto worrisome. SP Shehu disclosed that recovery of that 10 abandoned fabricated AK-47 rifles and 3 fabricated revolver pistols along Muyen Forest in Safe local government area of the state. The state police spokesman explained that the sum of 1 million naira and 1 under accord anaconda were also recovered from the fraudsters. Gunmen have killed a female police sergeant, Chinyere Obilo, serving in Imo State. The gun was killed when gunmen ambushed her and her colleagues at the Hite Junction on Owerri Aba Road in Owerri. She and her colleagues were said to be on duty when the gunmen in minibus known as Busimo struck. They were said to have emerged from a nearby bush and opened fire on the police personnel. Also killed was a yet to be identified person said to be a civilian. The female car was attached to the highway patrol team of the state police command. The source said that the vehicle, which was abandoned by the attackers, had been recovered by the police. Super Eagles striker Terran Murphy has rejected transfer more than FC Lorient to FC Nice. Deyemi Abodoni Asmo on Sports Updates.
The Super Falcons will intensify their preparations for the forthcoming 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup next month, as they will be among teams invited to take part in a four-nation tournament in Mexico. According to a report from Mexico, the competition tagged Revelation Cup will also have Colombia, Costa Rica, and host Mexico participating. It will run from February 13th to 22nd, with the country with most points winning the tournament. Meanwhile, the Golden Eaglet will know their group opponents next Wednesday when the Confederation of African Football (CAF) conduct draw for the CAF Under-17 African Cup of Nations. 12 countries will trade tackles among themselves in the contest for the CAF Under-17 African Cup of Nations, while all 4 semi-finalists will represent Africa at the FIFA World Cup in Peru. The draw will be conducted at the National Arena in Algiers, capital of Algeria. The Under-17 African Cup of Nations will be held in Algeria from April 29th to May 18th in the cities of Algiers, Constantine, and Annaba, which are currently hosting the African Nations Championship. 11 countries have joined host Algeria for the CAF Under-17 African Cup of Nations. They are Morocco, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Mali, Somalia, South Africa, South Sudan, Congo, and Zambia. 2023 FIFA World Cup will be held in Peru. In the meantime, Southwest Derby in the Nigerian Premier Football League game between Remo Stars and Shooting Stars of Ibadan went down in Ikene, Ogun State on Wednesday, and it was the host, Remo Stars, that carried the day at the expense of the Oluyole Warriors. The game lived up to expectations, with both sides contesting the game fiercely in front of a capacity crowd, but ended 2-0 in favor of Remo Stars. Remo Stars now has 9 points from 3 games and are yet to concede this season. Super Eagles striker Cyril Dessers, who have made a sensational return to the Belgian Jupiler Pro League and played against his former team KRC Genk, but with fewer laws on players' transfer, the move could not get the green light, as the player cannot play for 3 clubs in the same season. So with that, the transfer talk with Club Brugge was quickly scrapped. Dessers was on the cards of Club Brugge after he made a summer move to newly promoted Italian Serie A side Cremonese after playing for KRC Genk before. Super Eagles striker Terran Murphy has turned down transfer offer from Olympique Marseille. Marseille had a player plus cash bid accepted by FC Lorient earlier this week, but the player has rejected the move. The left-footed striker has had his heart set on a move to FC Nice and is now awaiting the outcome of the negotiations between Nice and Lorient. The Nigerian Table Tennis Federation will host 2 international competitions in Abuja next month. The International Wheelchair Tennis Open will start on 5th and ends on the 7th of next month, while a 4-day World Team Cup African Qualifier event holds between 8th and 11th of next month. 16 women and 16 men from Morocco, Egypt, Kenya, Tanzania, and Nigeria will participate in the championship. Sport Update returns tomorrow. My name is Adeyemi Abodeni.
To end the news across the country, here again at the major point. The Central Bank of Nigeria said it will be coming up with a deadline for the existing card schemes in the country, after which they will no longer be eligible for domestic transactions. The National Body of Nigerian Union of Journalists has streamlined the membership list of the union to call professional, practicing members. Report of the week focused on the new Naira notes and hiccups being experienced by Nigerians. Zamfara State Police Command has arrested a suspect over banditry-related offences, criminal conspiracy, robbery, and fraud. That was the news across the country. Edited by Olushola Egbodofo. For more about us, you can visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening to the news across the country. Good evening.
It's entertaining. It's educating. Really informative. Quantitative news as it breaks. It's OSBC Radio 2, 104.5 FM. Women up on the south of the Sahara. Voice of the West.
Breakfast straight on OSBC Radio. 104.5 FM is the people's show.
OSBC Radio 104.5 FM brings you another exciting time on Breakfast Radio this Saturday as the world marks International Day of Education in celebration of the role of education for peace and development. Breakfast Radio will be playing host to an educationist, Dr. Dele Adigun, with about 20 million out-of-school children in Nigeria and incessant strike actions by the academic staff of public universities in the country. Issues surrounding access to inclusive and equitable quality education for all will be our focus. Other sumptuous delicacies on our Breakfast Radio are kitchen corner, etiquette, auditors, entertainment gist, fashion, and ICT segments. Join us on Saturday between 9 and 10:30 a.m. on OSBC Radio 104.5 FM for a fresh edition of the show. Breakfast Tray, your Saturday morning delight.
Breakfast Tray, every Saturday morning. You can beat no feeling.
Ẹ̀yin tèmi àkútì gbèdé o lójú ẹsẹ̀ tó ń gbóná pẹ̀lú ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glow Festival of Joy. Ayẹyẹ tó yí ayé yẹn padà látọwọ́ Glow ní gbàgede tó kún fún àwọn ẹ̀kú jankan-jankan fún jíjẹ. Ilé ọgbọ́n tuntun. Ọkọ̀ mẹ́rìnlélógún tuntun. Ẹ̀rọ ọgọ́rùn-ún kan tó ń pèsè iná. Ẹ̀rọ ìrọ̀ṣọ́ ọgọ́rùn-ún méjì. Ẹ̀rọ afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń gbẹnu sára ẹgbẹ̀rún kan. Àtàwọn ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ẹgbẹ̀rún ẹ̀bùn tó ká màmá. Ṣé àti tẹ *611# láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn kó o sì jẹ́ nínú ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glow Festival of Joy. Ra dátà tí ó tó ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ọgọ́rùn-ún náírà lásìkò ìfilọ́lẹ̀ yìí. Ó lè jẹ̀bú ilé tó o bá dé ra ìwé ìpè tàbí dátà láti ọgọ́rùn-ún márùn-ún sí ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà lóṣooṣù. Lọ́sẹ̀ẹsẹ̀ àbí lójoojúmọ́ wà á ní àǹfààní àti ìjẹ ẹ̀bùn ọkọ̀ tuntun ayékẹ́lẹ́ kan pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹ̀bùn tó ká màmá. Má kọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ kó lọ́nà gẹ̀rẹ̀.
*611# nígbà yìí láti darapọ̀ kó o dẹ̀ máa jẹ lọ. Ìfilọ́lẹ̀ yìí ń bẹ láti oṣù kẹwàá ọdún 2022 títí di oṣù kìíní ọdún 2023. Àdéhùn àti àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ó ń bẹ o. Unlimited.
Ṣòmádópin tó bá dà mọ́ dùn. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ṣòmádópin tó bá dà mọ́ dùn. Ìdààmú sí. Ǹjẹ́ ọ̀nà wọn àgbàbẹ̀ lọ ìbéèrè ni o. Ṣòmádópin tó bá dà mọ́